And good morning, my beautiful America. Welcome back to the All American Book Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest joining us here in our live in our nation's capital. For all of you who grew up during the 80s, including myself, you knew her as Winnie Cooper on The Wonder Years, but she's also an author, a producer, and a speaker. And she has been in the film and television industry for more than 4 decades. And we are welcoming to the show for the first time here as a partner of Great American Media, Great American Family, Danica McKellar. She's going to be talking about her brand new New York Times bestselling book. I'm already claiming it as a New York Times bestselling book. She's written 12 for our amazing youth and our young children to help them understand math, but also we're going to be sneak peeking into the brand new premiere, Grounded in Love at Great American Family and Great American Family Plus. So please help me welcome to the show, Danica McKellar. I'm so honored to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we have a lot to cover in 20 minutes. So I
Mhm.
one thing that drew me to you, obviously this is a book show. So you have written 12 books. You have a brand new one coming out November 4th. I Love You, Counting Book Full of Love. Okay.
I love you 100. It's
I
actually
love
I
you.
love you 100, a counting
Thank
book
you.
full of love.
Hold it up. You want to hold it up? Hold up there you go. Perfect. Thank you. And I want to say something. I think one of your co-stars and I have a lot in common. We don't do numbers. So I am going to welcome you into engaging me on numbers.
Okay.
Talk about what really inspired you to start writing these books for our precious children.
Okay, well, just a little background on me.
Yeah.
So I was on a show called The Wonder Years as a kid.
Yes.
My whole childhood, basically, 12 to 18. I played Winnie Cooper. Was very much a very popular show, and so that was kind of my identity. It was all wrapped up in that show. I graduated from high school and I was taking difficult math classes, but I never like knew that I was going to go into math. I figured I'd be a film major. But the Wonder Years ended and high school ended within a few months of each other. So I went to UCLA like, okay, next phase of my career, the Wonder Years is done, new identity. I'm going to be a filmmaker. Let's do this. And of course, everywhere I went on campus, everyone was like, aren't you that girl from the Wonder Years? Aren't you Winnie Cooper? Like I could not get away from it. And I recognized that I needed like a different, like I needed to find out who else I was. And I ended up taking a math class that I ended up doing really well on. It was multivariable calculus. And it was to fulfill a requirement. But then it was like so, I felt so good taking that class. I felt so smart. And it just made sense for me. And I've told this story so many times, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but basically, I realized that this was who I needed to be for a while.
Hmm.
And I quit acting for a while, and I threw myself into being a math major. And it was, especially after I graduated, it was crazy to me how many people, especially women,
Yes.
sort of claimed and owned this idea of not being good at math almost as a point of pride. It was very strange. Like,
Right here.
don't do that. Don't do that. It's like saying, "Oh, I just can't read. I'm not just." It's like people will tend to say, I'm just not a numbers person. I'm not good at math. I just never got to do it," as if though there's no consequence to that. And can you imagine if somebody said, "I'm just not a letters person. I just don't really read. I just
See, I
never
could
got
not
into it." You're like, wait,
have
this is
done
like
that.
illiteracy, and numeracy. I mean, they both matter. And being comfortable with numbers means you're not going to get ripped off. I
Yeah.
mean, just as a point, just as
Correct.
one point, being in charge of your finances, feeling comfortable truly with the APR percentage number on your credit card statement, all
Yeah.
the things, numbers are everywhere. They
Yeah.
make up this world and they run finance. And people who, especially kids who are afraid of math, if they
Yeah.
don't get help, can tend to evolve into adults who avoid numbers. And when you avoid numbers, there are plenty of people and institutions who are happy for you to do that. And
Mm.
they want you to ignore the numbers. They want you to not look at that, all of that, because they will take your money. They will take your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I have a whole series of little episodes of a show called Math Bites that I did. I mean, there weren't that many, maybe like five or six that I did years ago. And you can find them at mckellarmath.com if you want to see them.
Okay.
They're very fun. You can also just YouTube look them up. Math Bites, just spelled like a bite. And there's one about percents that I really like, and it shows how when you don't pay off your credit card, like how much you end
Yes.
up paying for all these individual items. It's outrageous. Nobody would ever pay that much for an item, but when you hold a balance on your credit card, you'd be amazed at how expensive your purchases really are. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I feel very passionately about this. The point is, well, I have many points. One thing I want to say is that shortly after I graduated and I became known as Winnie the Math Whiz, for better or worse, probably for better, I guess, um, I was asked to speak in front of Congress about the importance of women in mathematics. And so the people listening, your audience will understand this. So a commission brought me out there. They were trying to get more money for women in college. Now, my experience had been when I was in college because I actually worked for worked as a professional mathematician one summer under a stipend that I got. And it was pretty easy to get that money to study math for the summer to work on this problem, which we solved, and it was all very exciting. I got to help, like, you know, create a theorem.
Mm.
Because I was female, it was not difficult at all. This was in the late 90s to get money. I'm sure it's even
Mhm.
easier now. And it would have been even easier if I had had more, what do they call it? Intersectionality, I think.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was not a problem. And I
Right.
remember thinking, they're going to get more money for college women. I mean, that's sure, but I mean, I didn't like it was not hard to get because there weren't enough of us asked needing it or wanting it.
Yeah.
So I did, and there was a 100-page report that the commission had created, and then there was the executive summary that they gave all the Congress people.
Yep.
I read the entire thing, and I also read the summary. And all the important stuff wasn't in the summary.
Yep.
All the stuff about middle school math, that's when girls lose confidence in math. That's when it happens. And I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Middle school is the time when you start to feel insecure about yourself. You're not sure who you are, but you're looking, wow, well, math is like for nerdy people. Well, I don't want, I don't want that. So that, along with the idea that math gets much more complicated at that time, you go from just rote memorization to concepts like how do you
Right.
convert a fraction into a decimal and like just things that require a little more thought. And so if you don't have a really good teacher explaining these things, you end up feeling like lost. It's math is a language and it's a foreign language. And if it's not
Mhm.
translated properly, foreign things are scary. It's scary. Okay?
Mhm.
Math is can be very challenging. That's part of the gift of math, but that's another story. Um, so anyway, I was like, I'm reading all this stuff and I'm thinking, it's too late. We need more
Mhm.
money for like middle school teachers. And math needs some better PR because my goodness, look at what's happening, both from
Yeah.
what I was reading in this report and my experience on the street of people saying, why would you study math? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that to yourself. Ugh, I could never do math. Again and again I heard this story and it was driving me nuts. So anyway, this commission, right, is inviting me to speak. I'm not thinking at all about literally the politics of it. I was there like I'm going to testify in front of Congress about what we really
Right.
need. So I got
Right.
up there and said, no, it's too late. It's too late by college. We need more money for middle school teachers,
Mhm.
and we need to get some math, some better PR. And I'm going to do my best to do that. I pledge to you that. And I remember as I began, my dad came with me. He was so proud. It was great. As we were starting, I said, as my introduction, I said, okay, so what I'm going to tell you isn't in the executive summary, and you may not have read the entire report. And whoever the congressman was at the time, he lowers his glasses and he goes, well, why don't you enlighten us, young lady? My dad just thought that was hilarious. Now, I do this whole thing. I give this declaration. I was given like 4 minutes to talk, whatever, and I had my
Yeah.
whole speech ready. And I did the whole thing, and then they didn't get the money, and it didn't occur to me until years later that that commission was probably really angry that I said what I said. It did not even occur to me
Yeah.
until years later that
Yep.
there was that honestly that I mean
You
what
went
was
against.
you
You went
want
against
nations? Like I
politics.
was
Yeah.
like I was like Washington D.C. is full of people who all want to make the world a better place, right? Like that. Like I was so I mean, you have to imagine.
Yes. Yes.
I was a very sheltered child working on this show, going to school, doing my best, living, and then I get to UCLA. College campuses are all pretty idealistic, and
Totally.
I was a math major, and so well, at least at that time they were. I was a math major, and so I was all about logic and straightforwardness and I've never been great at reading between the lines. I had to work on it over my lifetime. So can you
No.
imagine years later here, and my dad also is pretty idealistic and like he's just kind of a puppy dog, I don't think he realized, or if he did, he didn't mention it to me, that like wow, maybe the people who brought me out there will probably never invite me again. And it's fine. But that was my experience speaking in front of Congress. And then,
No.
but that experience propelled me to do what I could to get maths and better PR. So that was back in 2000. And it
Mhm.
took me a minute to figure it out. I was like, I remember I was trying to create a CD-ROM game. That's how long ago that was. And I was sort of midway through trying to figure out what this was going to be. And I was
Yeah.
studying, I was creating fun ways of learning middle school math. I was like trying
Yeah.
to create some sort of product. And then a book agent recommended, like reached
Mm.
out to my manager and said, because there's all this press about me in math. They're like, well, she should write some sort of math book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I want to write. I want to write a middle school math book for girls. And so that is how Math Doesn't
Yeah.
Suck
All
was
that
created.
math doesn't suck.
It came out in 2007.
Yeah.
How to survive middle school math without losing your mind or breaking a nail.
Sister, I wish you'd have been around when we were in school. Because,
Well, I would tell you something. A lot of people say that, but then they don't want to pick this up. This adults use this all the time.
well, I guess I'm just gonna have to go buy all of your books.
You have to get it. It's fun. It's fun. I
Yeah.
starts off with factors and then moves into fractions,
Mhm.
percents, decimals. It's all like the real world math stuff. It's the stuff that actually comes into,
Yes.
everyday life. I mean, all the rest of it, you can use algebra. Like you can find there's times when it comes up. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm not gonna make this into a math lesson. But this is, really proud of this. This is my first of 12 books. My 12th one comes out. So I've been writing math books because I started writing this in 2005. It's
Mm.
been 20 years. Um,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Congratulations.
and so this one, by the way, this is for so my books are for like ages baby through high school geometry. I started off in the middle. I started off in middle school, and then I went up through high school geometry, and then I kind of started over again with babies. And
Mm.
this is for kindergartners,
Okay,
and
perfect.
it teaches kids to count to 100, all in the context of the unconditional love between a mother and her child. So it's very sweet. The idea is I love you when we're having fun together. I love you when you're sad. I love you when you've made a mess. I love you. Like the idea of I love you no matter what's going on. Just
Mm.
I just feel like I remember when I was 5 years old and I was literally running down the hall with scissors. My mother stopped me and she yelled at me. She took the scissors and she yelled at me. And I remember asking her for a hug, and she was like, of course. Like I still love you. Like
Yeah.
and I still remember her like going, wait, did that seem like I didn't love? And so I thought, well, why not create like a forum, for a
Mhm.
place, make it easy for
Yeah.
parents to show that they have unconditional love, just to
Yeah.
teach kids that because it's not something that kids automatically understand. There's good and bad. You're in trouble and you're not in trouble. And, we have these like lines in our head. And so I thought this would be a
Yeah.
nice way to do
Yeah.
that. And right now, if you go to my Instagram, you go to my bio, there's a link in a bio where you can get an autographed copy. You can order it now. You can actually order a personalized one. There's no extra charge. It's a great bookstore in Nashville called Parnassus Books. And if you do it before, I think of a month to do it. It's till October 1st, I think. And then I will sign, I'm going to go there. I'm going to like sign a whole bunch of books for all you guys. And so please take advantage of it because people are always asking me, how do I get a signed book? And it's only limited moments in time when that can happen. And this is one of those moments. So I will assign it to whatever name you say. Just make sure when you order it online, again, the link is in my bio on Instagram.
Yes.
I think on X as well, I think.
Yes.
Or you can go
Yeah.
to Parnassus Books and look up I Love You 100.
Well, I mean,
And
it's a perfect book for the fall because as we're in the fall, I
back to
mean,
school.
back to school. And another thing I've taught my audience, pre-ordering books does so well for the book sales.
That's true. That's
Yes.
true.
So
It really does.
I've taught them that now. If they
Oh,
haven't
that's
learned
great.
it yet.
So there's two, yeah, it's a win-win.
Yes.
Win-win. So
We
anyway, I look forward to signing books for you. But
oh
just
God,
make
thank
sure
you.
to write your name, the name of the person you want me to sign it to in the comment box when you order the
Yes.
book.
I went through that process because I went online and checked out your book publisher. And so I'd like to work more with them and have them more of your authors on the show. I also, with the 5 minutes we have left, I love talking books, but I also wanted to talk about things that are really important from the faith and family perspective of our nation. And you combine those with your work at Great American Media, Great American Family, and the new channel, Great GFAM Plus. And you talk a lot. Grounded in Love is going to be out later this month. What a great way to kick off fall. I'd love to hear the aspects of the movie, but also the faith component, because I know faith is now a huge thing for you, and I'd love to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my faith journey started about 3.5 years ago, which is very new. I was in my
Ah,
late 40s, and it's been amazing. It's been an incredible journey so far. I read the Bible every day, and I'm just amazed at the quality of my life. I can't imagine. I just, I find so much comfort in my relationship with God,
mm,
so much comfort. And I think I've always been a really stressed out person. I've just always tried to accomplish a lot and wanted to do a lot and to do well and to be responsible and all those things. And carrying that burden yourself is
yes,
unmanageable.
yes,
And so I'd heard like little phrases like let go and let God and all those things, and sure, sure. But now I understand it more. I'm like, oh, you're giving, you're letting let him take the burden and trust. And again, if we only have a few minutes left, then I can't go into it too much. But that whole journey has been so precious. And the idea that I get to both on my social media accounts and also through my movies get to help other people see the love that I've been learning and
yes,
this movie Grounded in Love on Great American Family. I'm so excited about it because this is actually the first movie that I've ever done that's truly faith forward. And I actually pray in the movie, which I'd never done in another movie before. Like actually I'm like praying. And it was so fun to do those scenes because it's like I could actually talk to God in the scene
uh,
as a character. It was really interesting. I'm like, what? So what is happening right now? I'm praying, but I'm not like really praying. But I'm as the
yeah,
character I'm praying, but God's really there. So it was kind of fun.
yeah,
Anyway, I love this movie, Grounded in Love. It's been on PureFlix now since August 7th, so you can stream it anytime. But also Great American Family Channel and GFam Plus. It's going to have that premiere on September 27th, so you can watch it. I'll be like, live tweeting on X or whatever during the premiere, I'm sure. Uh, and but you can also stream it anytime you want on PureFlix. PureFlix is great. And actually, PureFlix has a premium subscription level where I just did a whole bunch of content about my favorite Bible verses, and it's beautiful. I am so excited for that stuff to. It's already started coming out, but I got to go do a deep dive into the Lord's Prayer, which is my one of my favorite things to talk about, and
mhm,
also a deep dive into a few of my favorite Bible verses, including Philippians 4:6 through 7, which deals with not having anxiety, because I've always
yeah,
had not like clinical anxiety, but I've always been a worrier. And
mhm,
so just to be able to turn it over in that way, like
yeah,
literally, do not be anxious about anything. Like, wow,
yeah.
okay, that's
It's
a
hard.
that's a big one, but okay, that's great to know that's what I'm supposed to do because that is that would be great. I would love to not be anxious about anything. But just truly in the focusing on the prayer and supplication with thanksgiving and just that idea of being in gratitude. And then you get peace that surpasses all understanding. It's so
Yes,
great because my brain, my math brain, whatever, would go, well, I don't have a reason to be peaceful. Well, guess what? It literally says it doesn't have to make sense. So
yes,
anyway, so the PureFlix Premium is really
yeah,
awesome, and it also supports all of the faith and family and country values and goals that PureFlix and Great American has, and so it's a wonderful thing to do. And you'll find all that content on Great American Premium. I mean PureFlix Premium.
premium.
It's Great
Yeah.
American PureFlix. Great American PureFlix Premium. Don't be confused. Just go to pureflix.com and you can find
And yes, and definitely sign up for the subscription because Bill does all the exclusive conversations and
it.
there's a
Yep.
lot of devotional pieces and conversations with God. And that's one of the things I know that you are working with. And it just is a greater way, a deeper way to connect with God. And I love how Great American has been really focused on that, especially as our country heads into the 250th birthday in the coming year. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So on that note, I am so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to be working with you. Thanks to Great American Media, Bill, and the whole team and Pam. What is you just mentioned a passage, but what would be one Bible verse that you would share with everybody that you just carry with you no matter what?
Well, I mean, that one is the one, at least these days, Philippians
Philippians.
4, 6, or 7. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do it. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
Amen, sister. You did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you. So thanks so much for tuning in here at the All American Book Club. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for our next segment.